Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
And we're back. This is the Enough Already podcast. I'm Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. Guess what this is, Tracy?
What? The time you forgot what you were going to say next?
No. You hear it?
No.
You don't hear this?
No, I don't hear nothing. Oh.
That is live footage on tape of James Comey's home.
Awesome.
You don't hear it?
I can hear it now.
We play this on the Wham show. C-SPAN had a camera outside of James Comey's home before he testified. A still shot.
I feel bad for that crew.
Right?
Yes. What's
Do
our
you?
assignment today, boss? Yes. You're going to go stake out Comey's house.
I think
Okay.
I think it's a great assignment.
No.
Oh, there's a school bus. You set up your camera, and then you set a folding chair right next to it, and you drink your coffee. How's that bad?
Because you're probably going to have people walking up to you the whole time asking you stupid questions.
Ever so momentarily.
Ever so momentarily.
Oh. Plus, it's just creepy.
Can you imagine? I don't know what his family situation is like, but if he has children,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to look outside their home and see a camera just pointed at their house.
I know.
Weird, wild stuff. Well, James Comey testified yesterday. What are your thoughts?
I think it went badly for the left. And I say that because I checked every lefty site afterwards. And they only had one or two stories about it. And it wasn't like, hooray, we got everything we needed. This was the greatest day since the day before the election. It was kind of, they're all on about this loyalty oath thing and how mafioso that is of Trump. It's like, well, yeah. I think you're confusing New York City with mafiosos. But if that's all you guys got, then it was a bad day for you.
We all knew that he could be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
That's not grounds for impeachment.
No.
Well, where do you want to start? I mean, we could go to John McCain, who is now, let's see, he's 102, 103 years old now?
Somewhere around there.
And is his mom still alive?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'll Google that while you set up the clip.
I mean, that was a big thing there during the campaign. Yes, I may be old, but I'm from good stock. Here's my mother. She's still alive.
She's still alive.
I'll be damned. How old is she?
She's 105.
Oh, my God. John McCain, if the fine folks of Arizona will let him, will serve until he's 105 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this exchange between Senator McCain and James Comey.
And whether any Americans work with them.
But you reached the conclusion that there was no reason to bring charges against Secretary Clinton. So you reached a conclusion. In the case of Mr. Comey, the President Comey, in the case of President Trump, you have an ongoing investigation. What has been brought out in this hearing is more and more emphasis on the Russian engagement and involvement in this campaign. How serious do you think this was?
Very serious, but I want to say something, be clear. We have not announced, and there was no predication to announce, an investigation of whether the Russians may have coordinated with Secretary Clinton's campaign. Secretary Clinton's
No,
campaign.
but they may not have been involved with their campaign. They were involved with the entire presidential campaign, obviously.
Of course. Yes, sir. And that is an investigation.
They were?
That began last summer, and so far as I'm aware, continues.
So both President Trump and former candidate Clinton are both involved in the investigation, yet one of them, you said there's going to be no charges, and the other one, the investigation continues. Well, I think there's a double standard.
You know, a few things. First off, I'm amazed that he hasn't aged. Do you think you get to a point in your life where you don't age anymore because you've gotten so old
Potentially.
that people don't notice you aging? I mean, he looks the same as he did in 2008. Old.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, when you sleep in a bath of formaldehyde, I think that tends to happen.
How do the people of Arizona keep sending this guy back?
I don't know.
It's amazing to me. And you know what else is amazing to me? When you watch this video, and you could see it, we pulled this from the Washington Post, how people in Washington can seem to keep a straight face during all of this. Everyone
You mean the rest of the senators there?
Yeah, well, there are staffers that are sitting behind Senator McCain. There's one gal, looks like she's probably 23, questioning why she had to sleep with Mitch McConnell to be able to sit back there to begin with. But
That's just speculation,
it's a joke.
to be clear. I know.
I joke.
Ugh.
But they all sit there stone-faced as this guy is like, hey, when you were investigating President Truman or Truman Capote, everybody just sits. They're stone-faced in the back.
But you don't think that that's because they're accustomed to this? That they spend all day with these morons?
Either that or they just aren't listening.
No, it could be both. They could just tune them out. They're like, oh, there goes Scramps again. But I'm sure they sit there thinking, we're the ones that do all the real work around here.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're the ones that come up with a lot of the times the questions that they ask. And you can tell that because sometimes the senators trip over the words that they're reading off paper because it's the first time they've ever even looked at it.
It's true. And for all we know, one of these aides was mad at Senator McCain and actually wrote President Comey down there to see if he'd read it.
And he did.
This is President Comey. Where am I?
So pathetic. But I feel like he wants the Russia collusion stuff to be true just as much as the Democrats do.
Well, didn't he pass on that faux dossier to the FBI?
Yeah, the Steele dossier.
That was nothing but ridiculous accusations. Wasn't it Trump hired some hookers?
Yes, to piss on a bed that the Obamas had slept in.
Yes.
Because that makes sense.
Me likey. Yeah. Gross. I mean, really.
Yes.
So, John and James go way back, apparently. But I highly encourage folks to watch this video, especially to see these stone-faced people behind John McCain as he rambles on about President Comey. And well, everybody knows that there was Russian involvement. Everybody
On both sides. They were canvassing for Hillary in Wisconsin and Michigan.
But where's the proof? Have we seen any proof yet?
No. We still haven't seen the FBI still hasn't seen the server. Never forget that.
I mean, I have no doubt that foreign countries try to influence what goes on in our elections, but the way this portrait is being painted, the Russians totally handed the election to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Well, you have a story. The 6 most important revelations from the Comey hearing.
Yes, this is a nice little rundown from the right, of course. So this is at Breitbart. Colin Medine, I suppose is how you pronounce this gentleman's name. Revelation number 1, Trump was not under FBI investigation. So, leading up to this Comey testimony, Theo, there was some speculation fueled heavily by CNN that Comey was going to say he had never told Trump that Trump was not under investigation. So I don't know if you saw this fall apart. Fingers
Quickly.
or not, but CNN had this story. I'm reading. This is from The Hill. They had a story compiled by 4 CNN journalists, including Gloria Berger, Eric Lichtblau, sure, that's how you pronounce it, Jake Tapper, and Brian Rokas. So they come out saying, oh, we have this unnamed source that says that Comey's conversations with Trump were much more nuanced and Trump drew the wrong conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
And then that had to be totally scuttled when Comey put out his opening statement the day before he actually showed up. And in it, he confirmed that he had told the president that he wasn't under investigation. So that was fun. And CNN took it on the chin yet again. And then...
What happened to Jake Tapper, by the way?
I don't know. He went totally off the rails.
I mean,
he used to be somebody we could kind of respect.
Yeah, he seemed to be really the most reasonable person over there.
He might still be.
But the bar is really low now.
Yes. It's really bad.
They put a countdown clock up for this.
Yes. They're rooting for Trump to get impeached just as much as our friend Al Green and Maxine Waters.
Right.
No, it's blatant at this point, and it's ridiculous. The fact that they would run with that and then just get totally decimated on it within 24 hours, because it was before the actual hearings took place. It's just bad.
So that was number 1.
That
Trump
was number 1.
Not under investigation by the FBI.
Correct, and he told him that multiple times.
And I think we actually have a clip of him saying so.
You know, this investigation is full of leaks left and right. I mean, we've learned more from the newspapers
No, that's
sometimes
not
than
the
we
right
do
clip.
from our open.
Well, this is Marco Rubio basically slamming Comey for all these leaks that come out.
Which is number 2 on the list. So Comey leaked documents to the media. There you go. Sets up the Marco clip. And in that clip, Marco also asks him why the fact that Trump wasn't under investigation, which was known to, as Marco says, almost everybody on Capitol Hill, was not leaked.
Funny how that works.
You know, this investigation is full of leaks left and right. I mean, we've learned more from the newspapers sometimes than we do from our open hearings, for sure. You ever wonder why, of all the things in this investigation, the only thing that's never been leaked is the fact that the president was not personally under investigation, despite the fact that both Democrats and Republicans and the leadership of Congress knew that and have known that for weeks?
I don't know. I find matters that are briefed to the Gang of 8 are pretty tightly held, in my experience.
Weird how that wasn't leaked.
It is strange, isn't it? When they kept coming back to the fact that Trump, according to Comey, asked Comey several times to just come out and publicly say this, to remove the cloud over the administration. And I can totally understand that. Right? If everybody's sitting around speculating like, oh my God, the president of the United States might be under FBI investigation, and the FBI director's telling the president, no, you're not. And then the president's like, well, can you just go tell everybody so we can quit talking about that garbage?
No, I don't feel like it.
No, but I will happily leak other stuff. So this is what, number 2, the Comey leaking documents to the media. So Comey says that after he was fired, Trump had put out a tweet saying something about there being the tapes. Do you remember this?
Yes.
So he decided at that point that he needed to do some CYAing and sent those memos that he kept of his meetings with Trump. These are the little handwritten notes, I suppose, but that's just in my mind. That's how it works. He writes in this little, like, dear diary, had a meeting with the president today. It was kind of weird. So anyway, he says that he shared copies of these memos that he had made with a friend of his who he wouldn't name in the session, but he did give away the fact that this gentleman is a Columbia professor. So people figured out in no time who it was. He sent him copies of that memo about I believe the February 14th meeting, and then basically allowed him to leak that to the New York Times. And now there's a dispute over the timeline on this. Mm-hmm. So Comey's saying that the Trump tweet happens on Friday. He decides on Monday, I believe he said, oh God, I better get in front of or I better do something. I better put my marker down in case, these tapes exist or something. It was very convoluted. So in order to kind of staunch the bleeding on that, he decided to share these memos with his friend and then allow his friend to leak them to the New York Times. And Trump's lawyer came out almost immediately after this was all finished. And they say, according to Trump's people, and this is the statement from the attorney, although Mr. Comey testified he only leaked the memos in response to a tweet, the public record reveals that the New York Times was quoting from these memos the day before the reference tweet, which belies Mr. Comey's excuse for this unauthorized disclosure of privileged information and appears to be entirely retaliatory.
Well, first of all, one of the questions I have is I don't ever remember seeing a president's lawyer coming out and making a statement.
Even during the Clinton years?
Well, that was when he was under investigation.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I mean, of course, the special counsel is looking at everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't ever remember seeing that.
I agree with you.
So that was a little strange to me. Usually you would see something like that come out of a press briefing or something. Mm-hmm. But we're going to bring out the president's lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is how absurd this has all gotten. You've got the former director of the FBI saying that he sent his little personal notes to a friend to leak them to the New York Times to cover his ass because he was worried. And if they're correct about this, and it shouldn't be that hard to say, okay, here's the quotes in the New York Times that predate the tweet that he said, then he just lied to Congress. Comey. And last I checked, that's a perjury crime kind of thing.
Oh, we don't worry about lying to Congress, Tracy.
No, I guess we don't. I mean, Clapper's out running around and people still take him seriously. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. It's never going to stop. I guess that's why they brought in the attorney.
And that was number 2.
Yeah, that's just number 2. This is why I said I think it was a bad day for the left. Okay, number 3. The obstruction of justice case against Trump just went up in smoke. So there was an exchange between Senator Risch from Idaho. Mm-hmm. Not familiar with this gentleman's work, but okay. Who questioned Comey early in the hearing about the possibility of obstruction of justice regarding the investigation of General Mike Flynn. Risch repeatedly questioned Comey about the exact wording used by President Trump to him in private, which Comey recorded in his much discussed memo that was then subsequently leaked to his friend and then to the New York Times. So here's the exchange. Comey says, I mean, it's the President of the United States with me alone saying, quote, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do. I didn't obey that, but that's the way I took it. So Risch responds, you may have taken it as a direction, but that's not what he said. Comey says, correct. Risch says, he said, I hope. Comey said, those are exact words, correct. So Risch, if you don't know of anyone, that's been charged for hoping something. Comey says, I don't, as I sit here. Risch, thank you. I mean, it's a great line.
You don't know of anyone that's been charged for hoping something.
Yes.
Oh, that's fabulous. Again, worst fascist ever.
So pathetic.
That's what we were told. This man's a fascist, and he's walking around telling, oh, gosh, I hope this happens. I hope you drop this. I hope you don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking really the level of evil that the left, kind of puts on to Trump, Comey would be long since 6 feet under.
Right.
There wouldn't have been any of this. Gone. Democrats would be mysteriously disappearing or, having those like self-inflicted gunshot wounds to the back of the head.
Right. Oh, he met an unfortunate accident. Twice.
Yes. Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, and that's only number 3.
Yep. Number 4, Comey says the New York Times published fake news. So Comey had a few things to say about the reporting of the New York Times, which reported on collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. So this is, again, that same Senator Risch questioned Comey about the Times, asking, so the American people can understand this. That report by the New York Times was not true. Is that fair? Comey says it was not true. And again, all of you know this. Maybe the American people don't. The challenge, I'm not picking on reporters. That was my favorite. About writing stories about classified information. The challenge is that people talking about it often don't really know what's going on, and those of us who actually know what's going on are not talking about it. Okay. And then this was the biggie. Loretta Lynch meddled in the Clinton investigation. I think we have a clip of this, do we not? From CNN.
Let me see here. I believe we do. And CNN, to their credit, actually post this.
Yes. Well, they've got to quickly get back into everyone's good graces and look like they're being objective.
All right, let's see what we have here.
At one point, the Attorney General had directed me not to call it an investigation, but instead to call it a matter, which confused me and concerned me.
You made a comment earlier about the Attorney General, previous Attorney General, asking you about the investigation on the Clinton emails, saying that you've been asked not to call it an investigation anymore, but to call it a matter. And you had said that confused you. Can you give us additional details on that?
Well, it concerned me because we were at the point where we had refused to confirm the existence, as we typically do, of an investigation for months. And it was getting to a place where that looked silly because the campaigns were talking about interacting with the FBI in the course of our work. The Clinton campaign at the time was using all kinds of euphemisms, security review, matters, things like that for what was going on. We were getting to a place where the Attorney General and I were both going to have to testify and talk publicly about it. And I wanted to know, was she going to authorize us to confirm we had an investigation? And she said, yes, but don't call it that, call it a matter. And I said, why would I do that? And she said, just call it a matter. And again, you look back in hindsight, you think, should I have resisted harder? I just said, all right, this isn't a hill worth dying on. And so I just said, okay, the press is going to completely ignore it. And that's what happened. When I said, we have opened a matter, they all reported the FBI has an investigation open. And so that concerned me because that language tracked the way the campaign was talking about the FBI's work, and that's concerning.
It gave the impression that the campaign was somehow using the same language as the FBI because you were handed the campaign language and told to be able to use the campaign language.
And again, I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but it gave the impression that the Attorney General was looking to align the way we talked about our work with the way a political campaign was describing the same activity, which was inaccurate. We had a criminal investigation open. As I've said before, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We had an investigation open at the time, and so that gave me a queasy feeling.
Okay, so at that point, I'm thinking anyone on the left that's watching this turned the whole thing off. Right?
I don't know. They're probably just like, yeah, what's the big deal? There's no difference between a matter and an investigation.
Oh, I did see that from a few lefties. That's no big deal.
Yeah. No, that's nothing. That's not politicizing something. It's not just an open admission that Loretta Lynch was completely corrupt and wanted to keep her job for another at least 4 years.
So you had coordination in messaging between the Clinton campaign, the Attorney General, and the FBI.
Yeah, and squeaky clean, nice guy James Comey just went along with it. I figured it wasn't the hill to die on. Get out of here. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Now, did the Democrats get that messaging from the Kremlin? Because I'm told that's what... We can't, in America, come up with our own political messaging. We have to go overseas for that.
No, everybody knows that the best political messaging consultant firm is run out of Red Square.
I mean, Maxine Waters, to come up with something as clever as lock her up.
Mm-hmm.
The Trumps couldn't come up with that. They had to go to the Kremlin for that messaging, according to Maxine Waters. So I'm just assuming everyone goes to the Kremlin now.
It's possible, although this just sounds like American legalese.
Oh.
Lawyer speak. Well, we're not technically lying. It is a matter.
It depends on what your definition of the word is.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, this is who we're dealing with. But that's stunning. And I'll be interested to see if there's any kind of follow-up.
Of course there won't be.
No, the Republicans don't have it in them to do it.
If they had any balls, they would drag Loretta Lynch up there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And start asking questions. But they won't.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's ancient history.
Yes. Why are you persecuting this nice black lady?
And you don't want to bring the Clintons back. I mean, they're clearly trying to lay low.
Are you kidding? Hillary's probably praying that they bring her in so she can fundraise off of it.
Unreal. And that was just number 5.
Yes, it was. And number 6, James Comey sounds like every disgruntled former employee. And he did. He sounded like a whiny little bitch.
Isn't that what this whole thing's all about?
Pretty much.
I mean, since he got fired, the fact that he would leak these memos, give them to a friend who leaked them to the New York Times.
That's like some high school, or actually middle school stuff. You know, when you have a little crush on someone and you don't want to tell them, so you write a note and you give it to your friend to give to them.
I mean, what a pussy move on his part. Why didn't you just give them to the New York Times?
Right. Well, I mean, it's also kind of embarrassing. It's just like, these are the notes that I took when I got home. And he never did this. He admitted in the opening statement that he submitted that he never did that with Obama. He didn't keep notes of his personal meetings with him.
Amazing. Well, they didn't even keep notes of the time they brought Hillary Clinton in to talk about the whole server fiasco.
Selective note-taking, eh?
Seems
rather odd, huh?
Did anyone bring that up at the hearing yesterday? Why do you seem to want to take notes when you talk to Republicans but not Democrats?
No. Why would they ask something as plainly obvious as that? I want to ask him if he suffers from any mental health problems that have been diagnosed that he's medicated for. I mean, this behavior is very strange.
I'm concerned about him. I think that we should keep that camera pointed outside of his house to make sure he's okay.
I'll be interested to hear where he lands after all of this. I mean, do you just picture book writing going on?
Yes.
And then a speaking tour to describe his various strange meetings with one Mr. President Trump?
I think he will now become the media's go-to as a vocal critic of the president, and anytime there is any kind of new news regarding the special counsel, or if there's any investigation into something else regarding the Trump administration, they will go to James Comey, who I'm sure will be impartial, a fair observer, clearly.
Well, and we were also, the other media lie that got blown up is, I don't know if you saw these reports, Trump is going to be live tweeting the Comey hearings.
Yes. There was a bar. What was the name of that joint?
DC or?
Yeah, it was in DC. The Union Pub, I think it was.
Okay.
And I believe I've actually had a few cocktails there before.
That's surprising to no one.
They were going to give out free drinks every time Trump tweeted during the Comey hearings. It's going to be a free round of drinks. This was a big effing deal in D.C.
Yeah.
There was a story in IJ Review. Someone had taken a picture of a pub in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And it was, all the patrons had their eyes glued to CNN. And the photo showed a lot of sad faces.
How do these people all have the ability to go out to a pub at 10 a.m. on a Thursday morning?
I don't know, but I'm jealous.
Yeah. I guess it would have been fun to go to one of those, all Trump geared out and just point and laugh at them.
Oh, did you hear that? He said he wasn't under investigation. Did you hear that? Turn that up.
Oh, what was that? Loretta Lynch forced him to change the language to match that the Clinton campaign wanted to use? Weird. Huh.
Oh, good God.
So bizarre. But Trump did tweet this morning about this, and his tweet is pretty entertaining.
Yeah? What did he say?
So he said, despite so many false statements and lies, total and complete vindication. And wow, all caps, Comey is a leaker. Oh.
There are times I agree with people where I wish he would stop tweeting. And then stuff like that happens. And I'm like, no. You keep being you, Don.
Oh, man.
So there's that.
Yeah.
That whole build-up leading up to his testimony for basically nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're going to hang on little things. I read, I think it was Joan Walsh at The Nation this morning. She's very upset about the loyalty oath and likening it to it's some scene from The Godfather.
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
Well, who would you rather be compared to? The Corleone family or Hitler?
I thought you were going to say the Corleone to the Clintons. Like, that's a tough call.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it is a tough call. But I guess that's a step up, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
The Corleones didn't kill 6 million Jews. I mean, I didn't see The Godfather, so I'm not positive on that, but I've got a good idea that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. She was talking about Goodfellas.
Oh, Goodfellas.
Yes. Same difference. She's
Goodfellas.
likening him to mafiosos.
Wow.
Yes, as if we don't have government run by gangsters already.
This is a woman who would probably think that if it weren't for Barack Obama, Bill Clinton was the best president of the last 50 years.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, without a doubt. No, she's deranged. But this is what I found when I went to go see Are the Left Celebrating? What do they have to hang their hats on after yesterday? And that was at The Nation. Great. Huffington Post couldn't really find anything all that exciting. So they're just like, somebody's lying. Okay. Yes, this was patently obvious before he testified yesterday.
Well, we should move on to other things. Did you hear about the terrorist attack yesterday in Washington, D.C.?
No.
Well, it's not being widely reported, and you can jump to your own conclusions like I am. Okay? It's from ABC 7 News. D.C. police, we have to look at terrorism very closely in truck crash that injured 5. Two police officers are among those who have been taken to a hospital after being struck by a pickup truck at a busy Washington, D.C. intersection. The officers were on bicycles when the truck swerved around a bus, striking them at 9 p.m. local time Thursday. A traffic aide and 2 pedestrians were also hit for a total of 5 victims. 1 officer is listed in very critical condition. The others have non-life-threatening injuries. D.C. Metro Police Chief Peter Newsom says a weapon was recovered from the suspect's vehicle. When asked if he could rule out terrorism, Newsom replied, "We have to look very closely at that. We do not have a motive at this time. Both the driver and another person in the vehicle have been arrested." Now you tell me. Weapon in the car. Both the driver and the person in the vehicle were arrested. Why are we not hearing more about the story?
I'm going to guess it's because those people, the 2 arrested, were not white men. Just a guess. Is that correct?
Oh, well, no names have been released of the people who were arrested.
Oh.
Funny how that works.
Very strange. Very strange indeed.
So we'll track that story since no one else seems to be. I mean, it's the nation's capital.
Yeah.
And whatever happened to that cat that plowed into all those people in Times Square? That story disappeared quickly.
Yes, it did. Just evaporated.
This is the thing we need to start looking. Well, we need to keep looking for. ISIS, whatever their news agency is, their unofficial news agency, their official news agency, I don't know what it was, released a statement saying that there were thousands of lone wolves about ready to strike, Tracy.
Interesting.
They're going to blow people up, run them over, and cut their throats of the Crusaders.
Okay, cool.
I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if that got the same amount of reporting as the Comey memos that were leaked to the New York Times, but hey, priorities.
No. We have to prioritize things that matter.
That's true.
And things that can pack a bar at 10 a.m. on a Thursday morning. It's unbelievable.
Can you imagine being that wrapped up in politics, in Washington, D.C. politics, that you would rearrange your whole day, go to a bar, hoping that you hear bad news for the president? Can you imagine?
I can.
You can?
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
I wasn't a fan of Barack Obama, but I can't imagine if something came up where they were going to have hearings, or I would run down to the bar and demand that the bar would turn on CNN or Fox News so I could watch it at 10 a.m.
Well, it's not as if these people demanded this. These bars were like, hey, there's a market for this. Let's do it.
Well, no, I'm saying there wouldn't be bars doing this if it were President Obama.
Oh, I don't know. You don't think the Hooters would host? Like a Bennigan's?
I guess.
Cracker Barrel. Come on.
Yeah. Cracker Barrels don't have bars, though.
Oh, bring your own.
Yeah, BYOB.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you were... Okay, so take this reverse situation, and if we were that far gone as the left is now into this delusion that it's just a matter of days before Trump is thrown out of office, as if impeachment proceedings happen that fast.
And then Hillary will be installed as the new president.
Yes, of course. Then perhaps you would have gone to a bar and watched if, say, Comey was the FBI director under Obama. What if he was going to come out and say some stuff about them? Like, what if he had, come to testify that this stuff was going on with Loretta Lynch pressuring him last year during the campaign?
I would shrug my shoulders.
Oh.
Because I would know nothing would happen.
You're probably right. I can understand their level of excitement.
It just has to be really, really tough to be a far left progressive.
Why do you think it's tough?
Well, I mean, it's easy to live your life, not really taking stand. Everybody, you shouldn't judge anybody, this, that. But you have had crushing defeat after crushing defeat in the last 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Bernie got screwed out of the nomination.
And then he revealed himself to be a complete fraud.
Right. So then you decide, well, I gotta vote for Hillary, I guess. I can't vote for Donald Trump. He's a monster. Mm-hmm. And then she wins the popular vote, but loses the election.
It's because they left the ground game in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania up to these, what they didn't know at the time, were Russian operatives.
Right. And now this. You thought this was the beginning of the impeachment process right here. It was going to start yesterday.
They will find another way. This is not going to stop, Fingers.
Well, I understand it's not going to stop, but at least you could try to make a case that if there was some sort of collusion between the Russians and Donald Trump, and that he was under investigation because of that collusion, you could make a case. Okay, this is eyebrow raising.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't look good.
Mm-mm.
But if you're hanging your hat on, he said to James Comey, I expect loyalty. That's your thing now? You've gone from colluding with a foreign government to influence election results in America to, he demanded loyalty. Yeah. Wow.
To me, that's basically like asking, can you be trusted?
Right.
Which is not that strange coming out of the mouth of somebody that the left loves to tell us is a big fan of Alex Jones. So therefore has a healthy skepticism of the deep state. But just so you're aware, here's the new tack that's going to be taken, or at least one of them. And this was reported in The Hill this week. Democrats plan to sue Trump over conflicts of interest. So dozens of Democrats in the House and Senate are planning to file a lawsuit against President Trump, charging that his vast business empire has created conflicts of interest that violate the emoluments clause of the Constitution.
So they're going to attempt to do to Donald Trump what they did to Sarah Palin.
Oh, yeah. Tie them up in court. Sure. And then we all have to pay for this, of course.
I'm sure members of the media will ask why we have to pay for this. Why are they throwing all these frivolous lawsuits at the President of the United States? I'm sure that will come up, right?
Sure. Well, why does the White House counselor's office have to expand and add 50 new lawyers? Well, because you guys keep suing. Knock that shit off. But they won't. They're never going to give up. This is why they're going to win in the long run, because Republicans do not fight like this.
Trump
Can you imagine
does,
what would have happened if somebody, of course, but imagine what would have happened if they tried to sue Obama over something.
No, this is, it's hard to predict these things 3 years out, but I'm a firm believer that if Donald Trump runs for president again, he's going to win. And
I think so too. Yeah.
And it's because the left, they've completely lost their minds.
They've gone way too far. I mean, the Kathy Griffin thing was over the line, and I would imagine upsetting to normal people, the folks,
right?
Like O'Reilly's buddies. And then you've got, CNN getting nailed for staging a protest, or excuse me, like stage managing a protest in London. So at a certain point, people are going to stop trusting them. They already don't trust politicians. So if Trump can still play the outsider that's getting screwed by all the insiders, he probably can win in 2020.
It's a fine line, though, because sometimes he really comes across as a whiny bitch.
Oh, totally.
I'm getting attacked. It's terrible. How I'm treated. It's awful. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Can you point it out in a way to where you don't sound like a whiny bitch? I mean, everybody gets it. Anyone who turns on the news. I'm telling you, every night I walk by a television at 10 p.m., CNN is on, Don Lemon is there, and they're talking about Trump-Russia. Mm-hmm. This has happened almost every weeknight. That's the lead. The only time that I can remember in recent memory that wasn't the case was the bombing over in Manchester.
That's the only thing that stopped the Russia coverage?
Right.
Yeah.
The same people on the same panels talking about the same thing.
Yeah, because we haven't had any new information per se on that in a long time. Well, except now that we've got everybody's new favorite leaker, Reality Winner. And her little NSA doc that says that the Russians were trying to access local elections.
Okay, were they?
Spear phishing. I don't know. I mean, if you read the report that she leaked out, it's like, this is not conclusive, kind of, at the end. But if it's true, then that's something. And this is something new that we've learned, that they were using the spear phishing, which is sending you an email that says, oh my God, fingers, you desperately need to update your Gmail password. Please click this link. And then you click it and give them your information, and then they have a way in. But Comey was asked sort of about this yesterday and said, do you have any proof that they were able to change any vote tallies? And he said no. So
no,
there's that.
According to 58% of Democrats,
yes,
the Russians hacked the election.
Well, and you can imagine that they feel semi-vindicated by what was leaked by poor Reality Winner.
I hope she's happy. She's going to be spending
yeah.
her ute, the rest of it, in prison.
Probably.
I mean, she'll come out a hero.
Yes. To some. But it's like, if you were going to leak, I mean, that's really the best thing that you could find to put out. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've got better stuff, the NSA. But how bad are they at hiring these contractors? There's the second one that's burned them publicly. Imagine how many of them have done it and we haven't even heard of it.
And you're supposed to have full faith in the United States federal government.
Well, and the joke is that they're an intelligence agency and they can't properly vet
right
the people that they're hiring. But yeah, let's leave that same government up to decide who gets to come into this country. We can totally vet these refugees. No problem.
They're completely
can't even hire
competent.
people for the NSA that can be trusted.
Good Lord. Well, do you have anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Oh, I did have a little funny story. You know, the Bill Cosby trial is going on now.
Yes.
In the suburbs of beautiful Philadelphia. And Gloria Allred is there, of course, because she's representing some of the women, but none of the women that are involved in this case at the moment. So she got chucked out, told to leave the courtroom because she's so old that she can't remember to turn off her cell phone, and it went off. So there was a strict ban by the judge that said, you know, you cannot use phones in the courtroom. He didn't want anybody texting or tweeting or anything like that And so there's old Gloria. Phone rings. What do you think her ringer is? Do you think she has an
ambulance
song?
An ambulance siren?
Oh my god!
I don't know.
She was allowed back in.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, but there was a local NBC reporter who got chucked for good because he was texting. So that's the latest from the Bill Cosby trial. It's the most exciting thing to come out of it.
So Gloria Allred is there representing women who have accused Bill Cosby of drugging them and having his way with them.
Yes, we can say raping.
Well,
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So obviously, when the criminal trial is over, Gloria is going to step up and sue Bill Cosby if that hasn't already happened.
I think that he's got several cases pending right now. So this is just one accuser.
How does this happen? I'm so surprised that he was able to keep that under wraps for as long as he did, because some of these stories go way back.
Well, it's called payoffs.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he had that syndication money.
This is what's so baffling to me. You have that syndication money. Why do you feel like you have to drug women to sleep with them? There are plenty of gold diggers out there that would sleep with Bill Cosby without him having to give them some kind of special drink.
Yeah.
Unless
this is
it's
obviously
a fetish.
That's what I think it is. Some strange fetish. You don't want willing participants in this one. No, it's vile.
Has Camille stayed with him?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were trying to come up with a Donald Trump shot. We're joking around because a bunch of us are meeting up for football and good times. And
in the fall.
Yeah, in the fall. And we were thinking Fireball and orange vodka.
Oh.
No good?
You wouldn't drink that. No, it's going to taste awful.
Quickly, can I tell you my cable story?
Sure.
Because I know we're running out of time, but I've had 4 different interactions with a cable company trying to switch my internet because my internet sucks. Mm-hmm. I won't mention their name, although I should. I sign up online. I wait for the installer 4 days later to show up. The installer does not show up. So then, because I don't like talking on the phone, I get on their customer service online chat. And the first name pops up, and it was like Koltov or something. Oh. They didn't even try like, oh, this is Jim. This is all these whacked out names. And we don't have any record of this transaction. This is what I'm hearing. We can offer you a new package that's even cheaper. And I look at that, I'm like, well, this is crap. I took a whole day off of work. But they offered me a great deal, so I get ready to sign up. I get booted from the chat. Talk to 4 different people on chat. The last person offers me the same deal, but it's $20 more expensive. I was like, the guy I was talking to 4 chats ago offered me the same package, $20. It just depends on who you talk to. So I'm like, screw this. So I call him. So I call this company. Here. Oh, welcome. This is Steve. How may I help you? Oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. My hearing isn't what it used to be, Tracy.
Oh?
No, it's not. And now I have to really, really concentrate and listen very, very carefully because I can't understand half of what this guy is saying. So he's like, oh, yes, you get 75 Mbps internet with basic cable and $39.99. Like, oh, great. That's cheaper than what I was going to pay. I'm noticing you're giving away free installation now. You weren't giving it away Friday. Do I get that? Let me see. Oh, you get free installation. Like, oh, okay, fantastic. Give him my information. And, of course, a crucial part of giving them your information is your email address.
Yes.
So I said, okay, my email address is fingersmalloy@prodigy.net. That's not my email address. But for the purposes of this conversation, that's what it is. He's like, what? I said, Fingers Malloy, F as in Frank, and I go through the whole thing. Okay, I've got it. Okay, can you repeat that back for me, please? Fingers@Malloy@prodigy.net. It's like, no. Where'd you get the @Malloy? There is no @Malloy.
You can't double @ in an email.
Right.
Address.
Fingers@Malloy@prodigy.net. Like, son of a bitch, no. 5 times I go over. It's not that. He's like, singer. I was like, fingers, like on your hand. Fingers. Fingers. Look at your hand. Hopefully there's more than one on your hand. So it's plural. Fingers. Okay, fingers? Yes. Malloy. Franklin? No. Malloy.
Oh, my God.
Fingers Malloy @prodigy.net. FIN 7. So anyway, after 10 minutes of this, I feel like he has my email address. Hang up. Before I hang up. Okay, you will get an email in 15 minutes with a breakdown of your account and this transaction, and then you'll get a welcoming email in 2 days. Congratulations, you are now set with so-and-so's service. Great. That was 2 days ago. I still haven't received an email.
Oh, God.
Looked in my spam. So apparently someone somewhere with the email address fingers@Malloy@prodigy.net is getting a bunch of my emails. So if you could forward them to me, it'd be great. Just tweet me and let me know @fingersmalloy while my voice cracks.
Yeah,
I can't go back. I can't go back between my Indian and regular voices without
Going Peter Brady on us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I hate cable.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're out of time, Tracy.
We appear to be.
Where can everyone find the Enough Already podcast?
You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud. You could like us on Facebook. And if you forget all of that, you can always visit enoughalready.us.
Yes, check out enoughalready.us. We have the Daily Briefly that we release weekdays at enoughalready.us. It's a 2 to 4 minute podcast. You pick a story, we talk about it, sometimes in an Indian accent. So check that out. And, of course, listen to us on WAAM. That's WHAM, 1600 AM in Ann Arbor, Southeast Michigan. Well, thanks for listening. That's all for us. We'll be back soon with another Enough Already.
The best place for news, fake news, commentary, and fake commentary is enoughalready.us.